All right, we're back. Hey, Dan.
Hey, what is this? Episode 4 now, right?
5.
5. We're at 5.
We've done
Milestone.
this for over a month.
Milestones.
The conspiracies get crazier and crazier as the silly season goes on, in Formula One at least, and also in IndyCar. But yes, 5th episode. We've passed, I think, the official marker of where podcasts fail.
Really?
I think so.
Well, it all comes down to how much energy do we have to keep going with this?
That's right.
And how tired are we going to be getting?
That's right. Because I feel like during the summer break, at least for Formula One, because this is mainly a Formula One podcast, I feel like during the summer break, it can be that you're talking about similar situations because we are all in anticipation, waiting for someone to make a move to break out the wildfire, right?
True, but there is still a lot of speculation on who could go where, and new scenarios pop up. But right now, let's just put that on the back burner.
Yep, we got to talk about that later.
later.
The aliens I'm sensing aliens are arriving soon to talk about the conspiracies of the Formula One paddock.
Right, and we'll have to protect ourselves.
We will. So we love that series, but it's coming later. It's coming later.
But what we do have is there was a race this weekend there in Portland in IndyCar.
Yes.
And it was actually a very good race.
It was very exciting.
Race. Now, Plo won, which Plo is now taking a dominant lead in IndyCar. But my guy, Will Power, he got third, and he could have potentially gotten second if there wouldn't have been that mistake with the pit.
Yep.
There could have been a chance that he pulled ahead into second.
So yeah, we're recording this podcast right after the race happened. We usually record this obviously before Wednesday when we release the podcast, but
right.
Yeah, I want to talk about Will Power a little bit. I do like Will Power. I've always thought he's a great driver. The thing that I've always been kind of cautious about Will Power is it feels like his move to Andretti was, dare I say, a young man's move.
It was, but it helped. It did get some rewards. I mean, he's been on the podium. This is his 3rd podium now.
Mm-hmm.
But he's been all over, right? He had that mechanical issue at Indy.
Year.
He had that. He was in the lead. Was it Detroit?
Yep.
I think it was, and then he hit the wall, and there was some controversy on that one.
There is some controversy on that one,
but yeah, I thought, this is a rejuvenating season for Will Powers.
Yeah, in the IndyCar world, it's not as big as Formula One, but I maybe equate it to the Sainz move to Williams. Kind of maybe a similar capacity. Everyone was kind of curious where Will Power was going to go after Penske, because I think it's fair to say that they're maybe seen as similar to like the Ferraris of Formula One in IndyCar.
Yeah.
Big name. Lot of money behind them, right? Like, will always be racing in IndyCar.
Always has the big name players.
Right. Always, like, obviously attracts big racers, with like Malukas coming in, and that was a cool decision. I think he's a future Indy 500 winner. Something interesting that the broadcasters talked about today was a lot of their decisions are based around the 500. Can they do well in the 500? Are they gonna do they have a chance to win? Because in the Indy 500, you well know, it's really anybody's game.
It is. But then again, when you got like the Penske's and those other teams that are up in the upper tier, it's how do those cars perform compared to the other smaller teams?
Right, and we're kind of just recapping the Portland race. Venus Rique.
Yes.
Sorry, Rinus VeeKay. I always mix dyslexia. Rinus VeeKay did fantastic in qualifying, and he did fantastic in the race. Got 4th.
He did. He pulled up the 4th. Yes.
I've met Rinus VeeKay.
Yeah.
Have I ever told you this?
No, you haven't.
My first Indy 500 race, he was walking the pits when we were in pit lane, and which is really rare on race day for a driver to be walking there with the whole crowd. But he was taking pictures for a sponsor, and we caught him right before he left.
Oh, nice.
Said hi, took a picture. It was cool.
Yeah.
Nice guy.
Cool.
He was in a Bitcoin car. That's why I liked his. That's why I liked his car. But yeah, no, fantastic. And they were talking about when's he going to get a potential shot at a big team.
Right.
I think it's not a bad move.
Right, because he's always been on the verge at Indy. So I mean, he could get into one of those bigger teams, bigger car or better car, and then break out at the Indy 500.
He's always qualified really well at the
Yes.
Indy 500, and I think it was only like a couple years ago he crashed during qualifying or something that then put him lower in the field. But yeah, I've always liked Rinus. I think he has a lot of spice, a lot of like youthful energy. He's very young. I think he's only like 24, 25.
Really?
Yeah, he's a very young guy.
So he's been driving since he was young.
Yeah. So when I met him, he was probably in his 20s.
Oh, okay.
Which is kind of insane to think about, you're driving. But, I mean, you look at Kimi Antonelli, 19-year-old driving at that level in Formula One. Oh, my gosh. Just some generational talents. It's like I don't want to equate Kimi Antonelli to LeBron James. But LeBron, everyone knew he was going to be the biggest star when he was like 17, 18 years old. Because, I mean, it's just when you see a generational talent like a Max Verstappen, like a Kimi Antonelli, like a Lewis Hamilton, people quickly back you.
Right.
Especially in racing.
Well, yes. And Kimi was backed at a very early stage by Mercedes. Early.
Like karting early.
Yes. And so they tried to make sure that he got everything that he needed to get successful.
Yep.
So
yeah, when you have the money behind you, it helps too.
Yes.
So back to Portland, Dan. Give me your top 3 highlights of what you thought of that race.
So my top 3 highlights was, I thought that, well, of course, number 1 was willpower strategy to try and get into second. It was great until he missed the pit. He was distracted and missed his pit, and then he got behind some slow traffic and pushed his slow lap.
Brutal.
Then he got the soft tires. I thought the soft tires at the end were a great choice. Give him an opportunity to get some extra traction around corners and catch up. And he started to catch up, but there just wasn't enough tire life and there wasn't enough time in the race to do it.
Yeah, the track temperature was 115 degrees. It's not good for those softs. I mean, they lasted longer in the beginning, but yeah, the end of that race was brutal. So,
and then also Newgarden, he did rather well pulling himself up.
Yeah.
I think what did he get? 5th?
He was up there. I don't remember the official ending, but he from the back.
It was like 5th or 7th or something.
Strategy was great.
Right, and he did rather well at coming all the way back up.
Yeah.
So those were my top 2.
Yep.
Other than that, I was more interested in just watching Palau dominate the whole race. So
there's a reason they call him the surgeon. Just so precise and knows what he's doing, and he's patient. He wasn't trying to rush the start and get in an accident. He backed down to 3rd. He just knew that his car had some speed in it. That Chip Ganassi car is fantastically fast. I want to talk about something.
Sure.
First off, my highlight I think was Lundgaard going from the back to the front. He was just plowing through people, and he is on a mission this year. And I think with his race wins, along with losing his McLaren seat, he is vying for someone to pick him up. But no one has. Well, I don't think there's anybody who's maybe a top contender. I heard Chip Ganassi could be a potential spot, but is Chip Ganassi thinking we need another Alex Palou? And does Lundgaard fit that?
He could, but do you think that Chip Ganassi is going to be able to afford a Palau and a Lundgaard?
I think so.
I
think if you don't have a seat, if you have your seat available and Lundgaard has no other option.
Well, it's a good choice. I mean, he is getting a little bit older, but
Yep.
he's still got years to race. So give him an opportunity.
Yeah, and especially IndyCar, they keep drivers around for. I mean, Scott Dixon, Will Powers of the world.
Kidding,
I mean, they're all older drivers and still are competing. And so yeah, no, the Portland race was great. It's great to see Alex Palou win again. I want to caveat it a little bit, right? Because a lot of people will compare Alex Palou to like a Max Verstappen. I don't know if I agree with that. I think that Alex Palou has always handled situations, or his car being poor, whatever, way more calmly. I don't want to say way more mature.
Well, we don't hear much on the radio for IndyCar as we do for Formula One.
Right.
So we don't know if
But even like media presence.
Well, yes. Well, right. Max at times, I mean, has had some issues with that. And he's he had a few talks too from the stewards about his media interviews.
Yep.
But also too, I mean, on that aspect, Palau, I mean, and also in general, IndyCar does not have too many drivers that put up a fuss and complain a lot. Yeah. I don't know if you've noticed, but not too many do. And if they do complain, they complain about their own driving, on how they could have done better in whatever situation.
I think a lot of that has to do because it's a spec series. There's not as much you do to the car that changes the whole dynamic of how it drives, how you drive the car. I think that's a huge aspect of it, right?
Right.
I don't think there's not much more to complain about the car beyond maybe the tires are bad or your wing setup is wrong or whatever. But then they just adjust your wing coming to the pits and then you're good, you know?
Right.
So
other than that, anything, where someone does something reckless and gets an accident and you get people bickering at each other for doing something silly. But other than that, I mean, not too much goes on as far as complaining about too much.
Yeah, I would agree. And I don't know if it's just the demeanor or the culture of racing or maybe it's just not as like people don't care as much about IndyCar drivers not liking their car or whatever. Because I feel like in Formula One, people are very interested in that. They really won't care about people complaining about the car. They want to know what's wrong. They want them to potentially slip up and say something that they probably shouldn't have said, right, about the car.
Well, right, but also too, Formula One, when they're talking on the radio on the open channel, they could be blowing smoke to make sure,
right,
to try and put people off the game to suspect that something might be wrong with the car when there's not.
Yeah, that's a great point, and it's all a game, right? It's all a mental game.
Yeah.
And but then you have the moments though, right, where people are complaining about the car and it's actually the problem. like oh man, when they had the porpoising problem a couple years ago. I mean, that was a nightmare for the drivers, and you would see the drivers get out and like they're holding their back, because they're bouncing up and down the whole time. And so the I think overarching Portland race was really good. I'm excited for the rest of the season with IndyCar. I don't know if you know, I'm not sure. When does Alex Palou hit a point level where he wins?
Where there's nobody can catch him?
You can't catch him?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if
he's like 100 points in the lead now.
Well, right, but if he gets a DNF, first place is what, 40 points?
It's something like that. So it's a little different than Formula One.
Right.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, so I think there still is a chance to catch up.
Yes, there is.
And I wonder if Formula One would ever change their point structure to make it so that you could come back from a huge deficit.
I don't know if they would. It's been kind of like this for how long now? I mean, they changed it up couple years ago
Mm-hmm.
to give first place more points compared to second. And then this year they got rid of the fastest lap point.
Yep.
So I think they're trying to make it. If you win, you get to pull away.
Yeah. I like that they took away the fastest lap point.
I do too, because I mean that prevents last lap coming in soft tires trying to get that fastest lap to pull it away from whoever's in the lead that's got it, or another team that's got it,
Right.
that don't want to get it, right?
Right, and it was such a strategy for the midfield teams to because a lot of times they're only 1 or 2 points difference with each other, because they don't get very many points throughout the year, and so they would just slap on soft tires and just say go get a really quick lap. I mean, it was a fun strategy, right? But it did kind of make the bottom 10 drivers think, okay, I should go in to try to get the fastest lap.
Right.
I don't know if I like that.
Yeah, and then it keeps people out on the track to actually just try and race instead of try to race for one lap.
Yes, right. Yeah. I like that they switch the rules up here and there. Formula One does a very good job with just slightly changing stuff. I mean, regulations wise, they'll change up, every however many years. But I think the big one that I'm excited for potentially is the return of the V8.
That's gonna be a good one. But I mean, with how many complaints there have been from drivers on the battery, power 50% right now, you're going to suspect that the next regulation is going to be something with a little bit more power behind it.
And probably less energy.
Less energy harvesting.
I think they still will have that because, they want to stay green and environmentally clean and all this stuff. But I'm also like, okay, you'll have 24 races in a year. Like, is it that big of a deal to be just full engine?
Well, I don't know if you've heard the engines. Remember the engines back in the day when they were the fully aspirated, no battery? They just screamed. You could hear them going around the track. Now they're much quieter.
Much quieter. Still loud.
Still loud, but much quieter.
And different sound.
Yes.
I will say that there was one car at the IMSA race, the Aston Martin Valkyrie. It has a naturally aspirated V12 engine in it. And every time that car went by the track, it was just a different sound. Like, it was way higher pitch. It was way louder. And it just put a smile on your face every time it drove by, because you're like, wow, that sounds amazing. And you can imagine that's almost what Formula One sounded like back in the day. But instead you have 20 of those passing by each time. That's when you need your earplugs, because it was like, just like really loud. And I mean, I don't mind the engine sound now, but I think it'll be fun to switch up the engine type and move away from the V6.
It will. And maybe, we'll see a little bit of a change in which car is better than the others.
Oh, yes. I think there's already teams now who are thinking we have no shot this next 3 years. So let's think about the next regulation change.
So with that, here's a conspiracy for you.
Okay, talk to me.
If they're going to move to the bigger engine, do you think that Renault will come back?
Oh,
at least as an engine developer.
I mean, unless I just don't know if it financially makes sense for Renault anymore. I think they lost so much money in Alpine for so long. They're like, we're done. It would be cool, and I think it would be really nostalgic, but I think there's too many other big players who can offer better engines. Like, for example, Audi. I think when Cadillac makes their own engine, it's going to be good. Like, you're getting way more manufacturers coming into the space.
Right. Well, Ford came in now this year.
Oh, and Ford.
So Ford's got an engine.
You still have Honda.
Honda.
You have Ferrari.
Yep.
You have
Ferrari,
Mercedes.
Mercedes. So there's quite a few. So why wouldn't it be a possibility that Renault could come back and say, let's give it a shot?
Let's give it another. Yeah, I mean, I think that if you're calling that conspiracy now, Dan, that happens. That will be. We'll have to celebrate somehow because that is a good one. And I mean, if here's my only thing: if they bring back Renault, they got to bring back Daniel Ricciardo.
Oh, you mean as the full team? I'm just saying about the engine.
You're just saying but
the
what's
engine.
the benefit of that? I'm curious.
So Renault, the team,
Yep.
went away and they kept the engine around for a few years before they totally said we're done. We're not
done.
doing any more Formula One.
Yep.
And that was back when the engines started to go from fully aspirated to more harvesting battery power and everything else. And then, Renault was kind of struggling through those time frames. Now, if they go back to
fully aspirated,
not using so much battery power, that then maybe gets back into the Renault wheelhouse. I mean, Renault
That's a good point.
Had a really, really good car and a really good engine 10 years ago.
That's right. It's a good point. They just maybe failed on the energy side.
Right.
But if you're saying, yeah, we make a great aspirated engine or fully aspirated engine, let's get back into the game. Maybe we can build something that people would want and we could sell it to the teams.
Yes.
And that's even, you can even go into the even deeper of, they're talking about adding another team potentially with BYD. BYD is an electric company. What do they know about engines? So it could be. Sorry. No, it's a joke. It's a joke. But in reality, maybe they would pull somebody in like Renault to be like, hey, let's work together to build an engine since you know this realm. We don't want to work with any of these other guys because we're not going to be a priority. AKA maybe kind of like McLaren right now with Mercedes, right?
Right.
I mean,
so that's another thing, right?
Yeah.
With McLaren getting really, really disgruntled with the Mercedes engine this year, will they stick with Mercedes?
Right. Are they going to be like, hey, we're going to look somewhere else? That Ferrari looks really reliable.
It does, but I mean, how many cars does Ferrari want to supply an engine to? I mean, if you're talking about 3, 4, 5 teams that are running Ferrari engines, isn't this just then a Ferrari F1 series?
No, you're right. And I think there's benefit to Ferrari providing, help to providing an engine to Haas and then providing an engine to Cadillac this year. I think that's it, right?
I think that's it.
Just those. But
Cadillac,
adding more.
Right. Cadillac's going to be bringing their own engine in next year.
Mm-hmm.
So
that'll be interesting.
Yeah, it was just a stopgap for them to get their engine designed
right.
out.
And they based their aerodynamics off of the previous Ferrari because they tested the SF22, I believe, for Cadillac before they had their own car.
Okay.
And so they used some of the data on that to make what they have today. Which, I mean, no one expects Cadillac to be very good at all.
Well,
but the amazing thing is that they were able to get that team pretty much up and running in like a year.
Right. So this year is just all it is, and I think we've mentioned.
We've definitely talked about this.
It's just collecting data, seeing what works, seeing what doesn't work, and fine tuning the car for next year.
Yep.
So this is what their season is. So
that's all it is.
They don't care if they're in last place at this point. I'm sure they'd like to see the
get
cars
a point
doing better, but it's not a goal at this point.
Yep.
So
and they've had multiple. I mean, I don't think they've finished very many races. Like they have a lot of breakdowns. They have a lot.
Yeah, I think their highest finish was 15th.
Yeah.
So
it'll be great to see them start doing better as they progress as a team.
Yes.
Especially a works team, right?
Right.
That Cadillac logo on the side of a car looks beautiful.
Well, their livery is really cool.
Really cool. I like the contrast of the livery.
Yeah, I thought Audi and Cadillac that came in with those liveries are just awesome.
Just awesome. And I think that and let's talk about liveries for a little while here, but the new blood that comes into the space and wants to do crazy things with liveries, I think is amazing.
Right. My favorite, well, since I'm a Haas fan,
Yeah.
and I'm a little biased, my favorite livery of all time was the Godzilla livery.
So cool.
From Japan.
The Japan.
Oh my gosh, I loved it. It was insane.
That was a great one. I just think that more teams need to take creative liberties with their liveries. That kind of rhymes.
Yeah.
Creative liberties with their liveries.
So I can't remember. Remind me, what team went in also to the Japan Grand Prix with a cherry blossom theme? Who was that?
Oh. Well, I know Red Bull did their all white, not this year. I think a year ago. Oh, who had the cherry blossom?
Because it might have been just a practice livery, and
it might have been.
It wasn't for the race, but it was still that was a pretty cool livery.
Yeah, if you know at home, put it in the comments.
Yeah, let us know
which one it was.
We're trying to rack our brain. I can't remember at the moment.
But I think like the Racing Bulls have been doing amazing things with their livery.
Yes,
changing it up all the time.
Yep.
The biggest disappointment, unfortunately, is Ferrari. Whenever they say they're going to do a cool livery, they only change like one thing on the car. And I get it, right? Like they say, oh, we have to stay with our Ferrari red, whatever.
Except for the big white area.
Oh, except, yeah, for the big white HP blob on the thing. Someone said it looked like a cracked egg. And I thought that was the most funny thing because Lewis Hamilton's helmet is yellow.
Yellow with a yolk.
That's the yolk, and then the white egg around. Oh, I was dying laughing. But, a couple years ago, I thought that Ferrari was going to bring an all blue livery to Miami. How cool would have that been?
Well, I thought they were talking about that because of the HP.
HP, and then their previous, back in the day, there was a livery that was all blue.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well,
how cool would have that been?
Yeah, it would have matched your blue Ferrari jacket.
Well, that's why I thought it was, because they had all blue like suits, and so in the wintertime I'll definitely bring out the blue jacket. It's very warm, so I can't wear it in the summer. But they had the all blue overalls, they had the blue jacket, the blue jersey, the blue hat, and everyone was like, "It's gonna be a blue livery," because they're secretive about it. No, it was just like a blue line and a blue
area.
Yeah,
I remember that.
I was not happy about that because an all blue. Come on, like how cool is that? So that's all to my point of like new fresh blood. I mean, Mercedes will do a livery here and there, but they're always usually the same. Their biggest one was when they went to the all black livery a couple years ago. Now it's like a mix of silver and black, but. These teams, McLaren does some cool things with their livery, but I love the ones that just go wild, right? Like the all white for Red Bull, or them doing the all yellow for their new summer drink edition for the Racing Bulls. Like, I love these different themes. And then, the pictures and the way they look around the track just look amazing.
So is it Racing Bulls that has the bull heads that are interchanged between the white and is that?
I think so.
Yeah. And in the line between the white in the front and was it the blue or the red in the back? The blue in the back?
I think so.
And I thought that was kind of cool.
That was
cool.
cool.
Transition that with the different bull heads.
They always do a great job with their liveries.
I think this year's livery for Racing Bulls is really cool. I like it.
I mean, I think it's one of the best on the grid. I mean, they come out with just the all white. I'm like, this looks beautiful. Like, we want to see this around the track, We don't want to see the dark colors. It's like everybody does the dark colors, right? But yeah, when you have the really nice white, especially this year with everybody has to have paint, so it's not like weight savings anymore. Because a couple of years ago, they had all like carbon fiber, different areas, and they would what am I trying to say? That was like the black area of the car, and they were trying to save weight. So just I'm glad they said, okay, everybody has to paint the car. It's not a weight savings thing, make it look good.
Right. Yeah. That's good, but let's talk about what is your least favorite livery that you've seen so far this year, or maybe over the last few years.
Oh, my least favorite. That's hard. I think I'd probably say my least favorite this year is Alpine. It's just the same as it's always kind of been, the pink and blue. And I think they could do more with it. I think, I'll be honest, I think Cadillac came out of the gate with a great livery. I think Red Bull had their new kind of like shiny dark blue tint. Red Bull's always the same as well, but it looks a little different this year. So I'd say Alpine. What about you, Dan? What's your least favorite?
So my least favorite, and I got to admit, so Aston Martin.
That's another. Yep.
So Aston Martin, stay traditional, stay green, got it, understand, but no change at all.
Yeah.
Just keeping it solid green year after year after year.
Yeah, it looks terrible.
If they, if anybody can mention or think of a time where Aston came out with a livery other than their solid green, let me know, because I can only imagine and think of times where it was just solid green the whole time.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen it change. It'd be a cool change, adding some silver into it. Like the green and silver, like adding a silver strip or having the side pod be silver, and then the Armco logo in green, but the silver background. I think that would look amazing.
Right. Now, people are going to say, well, it's tradition. Kind of like
like
Ferrari. Ferrari Red's tradition. Understand. But, at least
for one race, 2 races, change it up.
Give something that's special, something that's unique.
Especially at races that are like home races, like Fernando's home race or Lance's home race in Canada. Like, switch it up a little bit.
Right.
You have all the money, so spend it on getting a new livery design.
Right.
That's a good question. I think that comes out of the budget to change. So I'm sure they have to consider that if, they're funding the development of the car and they run out of budget and they don't have, you know what I mean? So I don't know if that's the case, but
is it, or is livery a separate budget compared to development budget?
I don't know, because I know that they have that set 135 million euros that they can spend, but I don't know if that includes like liveries, and because sometimes sponsors sponsor a livery, like the way it looks or whatever,
or they grab a new sponsor middle year and then that sponsor wants something done
to the
specifically
car.
Yeah,
like adding the HP logos not too long ago. That was a mid-year change.
That was a mid-year change,
and a lot of blue started to show up on that car. Oh my gosh, the controversy around that was insane. How many people were like, "This is ruining the car. They're ruining the Ferrari brand." No, it's not that. I don't think it's that bad. I think that the patch could be a little bit more strategic instead of a big blue HP like on the stomach. But
okay. So on that one, if you're a major sponsor, you want to be in a big spot to get yourself noticed. So, the front, they're just gonna take the whole front. So
yes,
understand that one.
I know, I get it too, right? But the fans weren't happy about it. But when you're paying them $100 million a year, you better get your front spot and be on the hat and think
other side,
right here,
right there, yeah.
So you better be. They won't put the HP over the heart though. That's always the Ferrari logo.
Right.
That's the spot where that goes. But I think, Dan, it's summer break right now.
What is it? We're 2 weeks in, 3 weeks in.
2 weeks in, I think.
2 weeks in.
But I think
we got to make it to the 24th.
That's right. So we have one more week after this.
Yes.
Right before the race weekend.
You going to be able to make it? I'm struggling.
It's going to be hard. I'm really antsy for Zandvoort and to see. I'm more antsy to see who's gonna who's going to be the straw that breaks the camel's back in the silly season.
Right. And I don't know if we're going to see anything during the break.
You don't think so?
I don't know because Fernando hasn't said anything about retiring. Max, not a peep about him moving off of Red Bull. So right now, there's just speculation and a lot of it.
Mm-hmm.
So speaking of speculation, there is some signals coming in that we may have to block.
Oh, yes.
So I'm going to change over.
Yep. Nope. Same here.
All right.
And I think during this break, it's a great moment to talk about our current sponsors of the Stewards Conspiracy Corner, Dan.
Correct. Well, of course, we got D&H Toys right here that we're sitting in the corner of.
Yep.
We, as you could tell, sell a whole bunch of a variety of toys, puzzles, games, cards, and other collectibles.
Awesome. And yeah, like Dan said, and they sell Formula One pops too. So
yes, we do. I don't know if anybody can see them right off to the side, but we do have Yuki Tsunoda right over Ike's shoulder.
That's a cool one. And I've definitely bought my fair share of Formula One stuff. They're all in my office hanging up. But and then also one of our sponsors is Formula Coffee Co. It's a company I started that is coffee for the race fan. So if you like your coffee dark or medium or light roast, we offer all three of those for you. So you can find us at formulacoffeeco.com. And with that being said, now that we have our hats on, we're protected from any of the stewards that we think are aliens that are trying to infiltrate our minds.
Right. But remember last week we talked about Cadillac locking in Valtteri and Sergio.
Yep.
I heard, and this is something interesting. Sergio is not locked into 2027 for Cadillac. And his manager has been talking with Williams to see if he could get a seat to Williams. Now, we already know, and we talked about this last week, that Carlos is not happy at Williams, and he's potentially looking at moving.
Yep.
And there's a thought that if Sergio goes to Williams, that Sainz may go to Audi. So then that would, and then what would happen there? Then that would put Bortoleto.
Yeah, because they're not getting rid of Nico, I don't think.
Right, but then Bortoleto may move to Aston.
Right. And Fernando retires.
But
or goes to Alpine. I heard that rumor too.
Yes, so that's another one where he goes to Alpine. So there's a lot of speculation now that Sergio's not locked in the Cadillac.
Oh my gosh. So then who do you think, Dan, would take the Cadillac seat?
So there's speculation, right, that there's three potential rookies that are in F2 right now that are doing stellar.
Okay.
That could potentially move up. Now, would they move up with Cadillac? I don't know.
Right. Because I feel like there's already drivers that they want in that seat.
There are, but I mean, you got Colton Herta, but I don't think Colton's ready. Yeah. I think they want to keep him down in Formula 2 for another year.
Yep.
And then you have the other young driver, which I cannot pronounce his name.
Okay.
But he's now down in Formula, I think he's in Formula 4 or Formula 3.
Okay.
So he's not even, ready to come up to the F1 seat.
Yep.
So then where do you go from there?
Who goes there? Because, the strategy of Cadillac was kind of, we're going to pull in two drivers who are not on the grid to take these seats because, well, they would want a seat. Very experienced drivers, race winners. They know the car. Sergio goes to Williams, playing a game here. I don't know, Dan. I don't know who would take I think you got to fill that seat either with an ex-driver who's not on the grid currently, or you're filling it with Colton Herta.
So there are a lot of reserve drivers right now
Yeah, there are.
that would be ample opportunity to fill that role.
I totally agree.
And there are some reserve drivers that are itching to just drive somewhere.
I think Frederick Vesti, love him. I think he has a chance to be in that seat. Why do I say that? Is because, well, he drives for Cadillac already for IMSA. So he's building that relationship with the team. He's already in the know for probably some of the mechanics, even though he's the Mercedes reserve driver. Comes from Mercedes. Mercedes only gloats about him, how well he does in the simulator, how well he does in free practice ones. So if you're pulling a reserve driver, that might be your option, because I don't know who else has connections to Cadillac that's a reserve driver.
Right.
That's not contract up to stay a reserve driver at, Aston Martin or Alpine like Aaron Paul. But you're right. There is a lot of reserve drivers who would be itching for a seat, but I don't know how the dynamics would work there with somebody like Fred, who already has a relationship with the team.
Right. So that's a real possibility, right? Is to have him move in. Otherwise, I don't really know who would fit or would fill that Cadillac seat. It's just one of those where
because no driver on the grid right now would want to go to Cadillac.
No. And Cadillac already filled 2 seats with ex-drivers because no one wanted to go.
Yeah. I'm curious. I would be curious to know if that Cadillac seat becomes a kind of like a Carlos Sainz situation where somebody's waiting and waiting and waiting, and then the only seat left open is Cadillac and they have to go there.
Wouldn't it be interesting if Carlos Sainz does it to himself again?
Oh my gosh. Can you imagine?
And has to sign with Cadillac because that's the only seat left available.
Oh my gosh. So I will say at this point, it's looking more and more unlikely that either driver in McLaren would want to leave.
Right, but we already said that with the Max Verstappen, if that decision of him vacating Red Bull happens, then Oscar Piastri is moving.
You think so?
Oh yeah, Oscar Piastri is moving to Red Bull. That's almost going to be because then more likely George is going to move over to McLaren.
Yeah, that would be insane.
Yeah,
if George moved to McLaren,
because we know.
But where else would you want to move? Right? There's no other good team open.
Correct. Because Ferrari's not giving up any of their drivers next year.
They're both locked in.
Yeah. So
that's it.
Then you got Alpine, you got Red Bull or Racing Bulls. They're not. I don't think they're going to be.
They're going to be locked in.
They're going to be locked in. They got a good team there. So
unless Lawson's been really proving himself this year, showing that he can drive a Formula One car really well. What if he's on the move? What if he's on the move to make a Red Bull return?
I don't think so.
Yeah, you don't think so?
I think he had a shot, and
he had 2 races. I mean, that's like nothing.
I understand.
Oh
but
man,
with how well he's driving at Racing Bulls, I think that they might want to just leave him there.
Let's keep him. I mean, I think that's fair. I think throw him into a situation like Pierre Gasly. I mean, Pierre, same situation, got thrown in Red Bull, got put back down. Let him drive the Red Bull car, do really well, and then send him on their way to a better team, like Alpine, like Aston Martin. I mean, wherever you want to go, but at least then you're like, hey, on my resume, I have 6 years of driving a Formula One car, and here's everything I've done in it. Maybe get the occasional race win, kind of like Pierre Gasly got, whatever, right? And just show that I can drive a car. I'm not going to lose you money. I'm reliable. I'm confident in the car, and I'm fast. Teams love that because I think, especially a situation like Alpine, I think is kind of unique. But Alpine was not doing well. Car broke down all the time. Looking for new drivers. When they're looking for a driver, they're thinking, if we're losing money on our car breaking down already, we do not want to be losing money with somebody crashing. And I think that's why they had so many issues a couple years ago. And it was a disaster because their car was probably unreliable, and then their drivers were crashing all the time.
Well, yeah, yes. That if you're having to spend a lot of money on repairing $10 million cars,
Yep.
it can hurt the pocketbook.
Yeah, especially if you're bringing upgrades like your Aston Martin and then Lance Stroll biffing it, and they don't have any extra parts.
Yeah.
They don't have any spares. They had to go back to the old kit. That was insane. I mean, what a in Hungary, what a terrible feeling that must have been, right?
I know.
You're driving and you're like, I want to go fast, but I also know that we don't have any extra suspension parts.
If I break
something,
I'm done.
I'm done.
Well, in most cases, if the suspension goes in the race, you're done anyway.
Right, but in Lance's situation, it was FP2, I think, and he biffed it.
Oh, that's right.
And then he had to go back to the old suspension.
Yep.
Fernando did great, so that's all that matters.
Yeah,
right?
that's the risk, right?
It's the risk.
Is something goes wrong during practice or qualifying, then you don't have anything to go back to for race day. Then you got a problem.
Oh, want to say congratulations to George Russell. He got engaged.
No way! Congratulations, George.
Yes, George, you're awesome. We hope to see you on the grid for many, many more years. If it's at Mercedes or if it's not, right?
Right.
So we think that you're a great driver and you deserve to, win races and do great things. The thing about the Mercedes is, especially with talking about George, is, man, kind of a rough go if you get a teammate like Kimi Antonelli starting to do really, really well.
So that's where, can you imagine if Max is sitting with Kimi?
Yeah.
I mean, them two together trying to compete that would be fantastic. I mean, it would remind me back in the days when you had Valtteri and Lewis.
Yeah.
Racking up first, second,
or
first and
or
third
Nico and Lewis.
Right. And they were just on the podium all the time.
All the time. Yeah, I think for the fan, right, that is the dream scenario. I think if you're Toto Wolff, I think it's a dream scenario, but then also it's now I have to manage two of the most aggressive, fast, hard-headed drivers, and are you going to have another situation where it was like Nico and Lewis Hamilton crashing each other out? Right? I mean,
wow, you got Nico and Lewis crashing each other out. I mean, how many times can you go down in history and have teammates that crash each other out?
Right.
I mean, you had Lando and Oscar crashing each other out, and
yes,
you had
in Canada,
and then you had Senna and was it Probst?
Oh yeah,
they crashed each other out on numerous occasions.
Right. So, but I don't know. In my mind, I'm thinking I think as a team principal, you almost want a clear 1 and 2. And I think that's what made Valtteri and Lewis get along so well and do well. Is Valtteri knew his place. I don't want to say that in a mean or discerning or, putting him down way. But Valtteri was like, okay, I know that I'm second in the team. And I want to win races, and I'm going to fight for races. But when it comes to me and Lewis, if Lewis is right behind me, he's going to let him pass.
Not necessarily.
But
there's been a few occasions where
I know, but towards the end there,
I know. Towards the end, when Valtteri knew that he wasn't going to be continuing on with Mercedes, he fought tooth and nail on some races with Lewis.
Right. Well, yeah, when you realize that you don't need to, when your seat's already gone, right, then of course you're going to fight. But Valtteri helped Lewis a lot to win some of the championships that he won.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it's definitely.
And I think that that's what you want in a teammate. On the other hand, Oscar did not help Lando one bit to win. And I know, there might be some controversy there, so I'm going to do my dodging bullets in the comments here. But Lando and Oscar specifically, they had their back and forth of like, hey, we'll give you this win and I'll win next time, and which I hated that. So that's the argument that you say they could help each other, but there was no, hey, I'm gonna hold back somebody who's gonna be P2 and let you go off. There was none of that.
Right. And right now with Ferrari, you don't kind of see that either.
You don't see that. No. They're very much fighting each other on the track.
Because at Hungary, no, sorry, not Hungary, at Belgium.
Yep.
Leclerc had a chance to back off.
That's right.
So that the 5-second penalty that Lewis had, he'd have a 5-second buffer and get that spot. But nope. He went through and swapped spots.
Yep. So it's going to be interesting to see, and whatever happens with this year. And I know, so we're going to be obviously talking about the silly season during the summer break more because there's less things to talk about. But we'll also go into IMSA and Formula and IndyCar because there's a lot happening in IndyCar as well. While they're racing, there's also silly season in IndyCar. So, and I think, and I've said this before, but I think IndyCar is on the up, and I think it can keep going. They just need to add some races. I didn't realize they raced in Montreal, so that's cool. So they do go and race.
Do they race on the same course as Formula One? No, it's a city course, right?
It's a city course. So
it's a road course.
It's a road course. Yep. So, but I'm really excited for the Freedom 250. I'm going to it in a couple weeks here.
Oh,
to DC to watch them race around the National Mall. So I'll have to get exclusive video footage of that track and how the cars fly by. But the silly season's going on strong. Hasn't been nobody's broken yet. I haven't heard really any reports yet. The biggest thing that I heard was what you told me is the Sergio not having a seat yet. That's a big deal.
Yes, it is. And that could be a triggering move for a lot of teams to make changes.
1,000%. It's the tension is building.
It is. Now we got 3 players that could be linchpins and everything moving. You got Sergio.
Yep.
We got Fernando, and then you have Max. So any one of those that finally makes a move could just one huge ripple effect.
Yep. And I think Max probably safe with wherever he wants to go. But you start to go down the line and you think about what Sainz did a couple years ago. But you're thinking, okay, when it breaks, I better make my move quick. Because who else is talking to the team that I don't know about?
Right.
If I'm talking to Audi as Sainz, is Albon talking to Audi? As his manager reaching out saying, hey, I think you have a better shot with Alex. Right? So then when something breaks, you got to make your move quick or it might be gone.
Right. Yes.
It'll fly by you just like a Formula One car would. And then you're left without a seat. So there's a lot of very exciting things that could happen. And this is one of the big silly seasons where I think there's going to be a lot of movement. Some years it's like, well, everyone's contract up. Why do they need to move? Maybe 1 or 2 moves. But this year, gets to the point where those long contracts, those 2-3 year contracts are expiring.
Right. So I'll leave you on one last note. Now, what do you think about the potential that Max is driving in the Red Bull car, which has been doing fairly well, but it's not a top tier car, and he's driving it to its limit to show, look what I can do with this car that's not even supposed to be in second place.
Oh.
So that he ups his stock for another team.
I mean, I think, No, I totally agree with you. I think you driving a car that's not good and you're doing well is always a plus, right? And you can talk about how bad the car is all the time, but if you're getting podiums or you're getting second, no one really cares, right? You're like, this is fine. But they're just like, wow, he's a great driver.
That's the thing, right? hey, we know this car is not the best, but the driver just made it a second place car.
And I'm gonna throw a curveball at you, Dan. I think that you have a better opportunity to be somebody like Franco Colapinto doing that in the Alpine to build stock, because I think anybody's gonna take Max no matter what, right? Like Max, he could say I want to go to Cadillac or I want to go to Aston, and they would drop somebody in a heartbeat to have Max.
I understand, but what if people are saying maybe Max lost his edge, or Max isn't 100% committed to Formula One anymore?
Ooh, that's an angle.
Now, with him doing what he's doing with Red Bull, people could be saying, nope, Max has not lost anything, and he's fully committed to Formula One. And if we bring him into our team, he's not going to be trying to go to another series. He's not going to be trying to race other locations or whatever else. He's going to be focused on the team.
That's a great point. That I didn't think about that point, because you're right. Max has just been kind of doing what he wants and going racing elsewhere. And I think part of that is probably, well, he's always wanted to do that, but I think it's partly because his team sucks, or it was sucking for a while. And he's like, I want to do something else. I want to try something else. But I wonder if in these contract talks, maybe that will be the deciding factor of them saying, hey, if you're going to join our team, I don't know if we're going to let you race elsewhere. I want you to solely race Formula One. And I'll be honest, right? Formula One cannot like Max racing elsewhere.
No. Can you imagine him racing somewhere else, getting into a wreck, and then not being able to start an F1 race?
Right. Or just the viewership. You get someone like Max to go to another series, and they suddenly their stock and their revenue spikes, and
the Orange Army disappears.
The Orange Army disappears, and they're thinking, man, I can go watch Max race at the German track. I'm sorry,
Nuremberg.
Nuremberg.
Yeah.
And I don't have to, and I can go for $15 to watch Max race for 24 hours. And then instead of going to a Formula One race, it cost me $150. And it's, I don't want to say this. It's not to me. I'm just saying, if I was someone else, it's more exciting racing at the Nürburgring than it is in Formula One. I don't think that. But, right? Like, you're thinking, wow, I'm going to go see Max race a GT3 car rather than a Formula One car, because he's not competitive in Formula One, right? But so anyway, you want the exclusiveness of Max only races in Formula One.
Right.
Formula One can't demand that. I think Red Bull can't demand that from Max right now, because he'll just be like, well, I'm leaving.
Well, Ferrari could. All right, sorry.
But Mercedes could.
Mercedes definitely could.
And I think Mercedes has the upper hand there, and we'll leave it on this. I think Mercedes has the upper hand in saying, Max, we like George, and we like Kimi. We don't need you. We don't need you. But we want you. But here's the conditions that you're going to have to abide by. I don't know. I don't know if those conversations are happening.
So I just wanted to throw that nugget out.
That's good. That's a good one.
As a possibility on why Max is really making that Red Bull perform the way it has.
Yes, and I think that's very fair. And the spin on him racing other places is also very, very valid. So, Dan, 5 episodes in. Can you believe it?
I can't. Well, I can't.
Yeah.
Because we sit here for an hour and we talk about this on the podcast.
Yep.
But what people don't realize is when this podcast ends, we're sitting and talking about this for hours.
Exactly.
Afterwards. So it's just a normal conversation during the week that we have for an hour here.
Yep.
And then for hours on end afterwards. So I can see it. I mean, this is something we talk about regularly, and we'll continue to talk about.
Yep.
So it's going to go for a while.
So continue to join us. Race fans, stay crazy and we will see you on the next one.
Yes, absolutely. Have a good evening, everybody.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye.